All right. Sunday morning, January 30th. Last night, doing some thinking about what I want this weekend's F Monday message to be. Something that I really like. I think I'm going to maintain this. Doing some reading, doing some research, looking into some stuff, getting the thoughts flowing, and my feed just becomes flooded with news about Tom Brady. And that after 22 years, he is going to retire from football. So I dig in, and it's all unofficial rumors. Some people saying that that's not true, right? Kind of typical breaking news scenario. And as of this morning, I don't think it's technically been confirmed, but I think it's safe to say things are trending in that direction pretty fast. So that becomes my focus last night, at least for a little bit. And as ironic as it may be, in the conclusion of Objective Secure, my book, I do reference Tom Brady. So chances are, if you're watching this, you know that my book, Objective Secure, is out. It came out last week. Many of you are working your way through it now. A lot of you have actually already finished it. The feedback has been amazing. I'm very grateful. But more importantly, I'm honored to just be a small part in your journey, in your process. So I just figured it was fitting for today's message, today's F Monday message here on a Sunday, is to just extract some of these principles and concepts from the book Objective Secure in reference to Tom, kind of tie it all together. So again, this isn't in the conclusion. For those of you that haven't already gotten there yourselves, this really isn't. There's no spoiler alert here. I'm just kind of giving away some pieces of the ending of this book. So really, it's going and talking about kind of wrapping things up as conclusion does. I'm going to read this passage. It says, "Greatness is not predetermined, something reserved for the special few. Tom Brady may be the greatest example of this truth. I'm biased, you say, because I'm from Boston and obviously a Pats fan. I can feel the eye rolls. Fair enough, so let's look at his numbers. Tom Brady played at Michigan University from 1996 to 1999, originally as the seventh quarterback on the roster. The seventh. He was a backup for his first two seasons, threw just 5 passes in 1996 and a whopping 15 in 1997. His third year, 1998, was finally Tom's chance to play as a starter. Brady's senior year, 1999, was rife with challenges as he battled for the starting job. Halfway through the season, Brady finally separated himself to become the full-time starter. The National Football League Scouting Combine is an annual week-long showcase where college football players perform physical and mental tests in front of NFL coaches, general managers, and scouts. It is a final chance for prospects to demonstrate their abilities prior to the NFL draft. Here is the scouting report for Tom Brady. Poor build, skinny, lacks great physical stature and strength, lacks mobility and ability to avoid the rush, lacks a really strong arm, can't drive the ball down the field, doesn't throw a really tight spiral, system-type player who can get exposed if forced to ad-lib, gets knocked down easily. As if this wasn't bad enough, my man Tom ran a 5.28 second 40-yard dash. For those unfamiliar, this is lava slow, and by far the slowest among all active quarterbacks in the NFL today. In the year 2000, Tom ended up being drafted in the 6th round out of 7 total by the New England Patriots. He was the 199th pick out of 254 total. To put this in perspective, those drafted in the 6th or 7th round rarely end up making the team's final roster. In 2001, Brady took over as quarterback for the Patriots mid-game when Drew Bledsoe suffered a devastating injury, a historic moment propelling Tom Brady to where he is today. The oldest active player in the NFL at 44 years old, played in 10 Super Bowls, winning 7, both of which are the most of any player in NFL history. Earned a record 5 Super Bowl Most Valuable Player awards and 3 NFL MVP awards. And then I go on to break down some additional stats, which I actually need to kind of go back in QC, likely update this a little bit. And then it goes on to say the debate regarding the greatest quarterback or the greatest NFL player of all time is one that will continue forever. Regardless of the stats, this will remain subjective and open to opinion. I'm sure you can guess where my vote lies, but the point is this. Tom was not a football prodigy from birth. His greatness was not a foregone conclusion. In fact, he was hanging on by a thread or flat out cast aside by just about everybody. Meanwhile, nobody could see what he was doing, even though it was in plain view. Tom's focus was unbreakable. His dedication to his craft boosted his understanding of the game to the highest level. He studied football constantly. Therefore, he was the smartest player on the field. His training, his nutrition, his sleep were all meticulously regimented and executed with precision. Tom believed in himself, regardless of who around him did the same. He didn't care what people said. He couldn't hear it. He focused, he sacrificed, he worked, and when the opportunity presented itself, he was ready and struck hard. I can relate to Tom, as most of you can as well, believe it or not. Am I a millionaire Hall of Fame quarterback? No. Am I in the conversation as the greatest anything of all time? No. In fact, I have never been the greatest at anything ever in my life. There has always been someone smarter, faster, stronger, more charismatic, more disciplined, funnier. The list goes on indefinitely. I struggled as a child. I struggled as a teenager. I struggled as an amputee. Few believed I could do what I set my sights on. And I don't blame them. But like Tom, I couldn't hear it. It didn't matter. I was convinced that if I kept my head down, kept my mouth shut, stayed focused, stayed disciplined, made the sacrifices, and worked harder than anybody else, when the opportunity presented itself, I would be ready and strike hard. I was not genetically gifted with astonishing talents. I don't come from a family of wealth. I make mistakes constantly. I lose focus. I procrastinate. I waste time. I feel pain. I experience fear. I bleed. I'm not cut from a different cloth. I am not from another planet. I am human, same as you, which means we all have the ability to choose. It goes on another page or so, and then it really wraps up. But that last sentence is really what I want to hone in on, what I want us all to hone in on here today, is we have the ability to choose. All right. So this message is for the greater audience here today on our F Monday. We all have the choice on how we spend today, what we focus on, what we do. The choice is us. Choices and consequences, the game of life. Given what we're talking about, given today, I do want to make this specific to Tom as well. So as a longtime New England fan, born and raised, thank you for the memories. Thank you for your effort, your hard work, the sacrifices you and your family have made. It's been an amazing ride. I'm really excited to see what direction you go in, what the next evolution looks like. No doubt it will be one of wild success, success in which you have earned, in which you deserve. So thank you, Tom. Thank you to your family and to everybody else. Let's get after it today. All right.